Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled debt. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you will change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery revealed. Never seen a death man raised. I promise you will change his name.
Hey everybody! Welcome to the Big C and Bigger T podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, joined as usual by my man, Big C, Clint Clark. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I am fantastic. I have just been admiring what my wife has laying around here.
Yeah.
I recorded her computer. This is not my feminist propaganda behind me.
Yeah.
This is, of course, my wife's feminist propaganda, who is her IT department. So I just want to show you people a few things in my view. This is a part of a pool noodle.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Then we got scissors.
Yeah. Those could be useful.
Whiteboard eraser that looks like somebody spray painted on it.
Well, that's for that calendar to your.
Yeah, right there. But where did this come from?
Yeah. Oh, a flamingo.
Flamingo.
Yeah. Who has a little plastic flamingo on their desk?
Yeah.
Apparently you do. Are y'all going to get flamingos for the farm?
Oh my goodness.
I think you should.
I should. The peacock is out of its coop and it will not, it's just like I go where I want.
It hangs out. Free range peacock.
Free range peacock. We
Nice.
did man, I've got a money making scheme, Travis, and I don't know if I told you about this. I don't think I've shared it on the podcast, but I had this.
You told me about it. You didn't share it on the podcast.
Yeah, but I had this idea.
Yeah.
Because people at Thanksgiving will pay about $100 for a free range organic turkey, farm pasture raised.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, if I get me about 15 turkeys and I sell them for $100 a turkey, that's $1,000. Right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I went to Greenbrier High School, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right.
But anyway, so I was like, oh man, we had so much going on the farm we've got meat chickens and pigs and laying chickens and cows. I'm like, you know what? We need to chill for a second, take a step back, and breathe, if you will.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we're gonna chill for a minute on everything.
Yeah.
Then my mom tagged me in a Facebook post that said guy selling turkeys.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if he bought them for his wife for Mother's Day, thinking that she was going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the way his Facebook post
nice.
made it sound. And I don't know the guy personally.
Hey, honey, I got you some turkeys.
I mean, really, is there a more ridiculous present than being like, hey, and I don't know, and they may be farmers, and he thought she'd have loved it, but
yeah.
So I don't want to make fun of him too much, but I don't think I've ever, and I'm on marriage number 2, which is 2 more than you.
Yeah.
But so I've done it once for both of us.
That's right.
But anyway, I don't think I've ever been like, you know what my wife would really want is some baby turkeys.
Yeah. I'm thinking poultry of any kind.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's like a tropical bird,
Right.
And she's like real big into tropical bird, like a pet bird. But like yard poultry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
anyway,
a show chicken. Show
yeah.
chicken. Maybe a
So
show chicken.
he was
Or if
selling
you're
them on
fighting
Facebook.
chicken.
I don't know, not a fighting chicken.
Some, if you're some parts of the world, chicken fighting's legal.
Yeah.
They might, if their wife's really into it, they might get them a
Right.
bantam rooster.
Hey.
Just to...
Yeah. So
what was the one on Seinfeld? His name?
I haven't seen that one.
Little Jerry Seinfeld that Kramer had. He wanted to take a dive.
You know what?
Anyway,
we just proved we are Generation X podcast by referencing Seinfeld.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll be talking about for a Friends episode next week.
So anyway, turkeys. So you bought some turkeys?
Yeah, I bought 10 turkeys.
Yeah.
10 turkeys. And what I've done is I usually do Thanksgiving with my cousins now. My cousin Brandy, Paul. So what I did, I started a group chat. Now I just picked one of the turkeys out at random. And we've named it Ichabod. And I'm like, this is going to be your Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh, good.
I'm really not keeping up with it, but I'm making them think, okay, this is our turkey.
Yeah.
And so just so they can get to know its journey and to see which one I'm going to eat. Because if you'll eat it after naming it and knowing which one it is, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and maybe there's something wrong with it because I guess growing up on a farm, it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it'll bother them.
Yeah.
Now, last week, we also talked about, I'm trying something else that's new. Last week we talked about, we didn't really talk about boudin and stuff.
No.
And we were going to, because when I got off the boat, I'm like, you know what I want to do? I want to buy some alligator.
Yeah.
I want some alligator meat. And so I was like, well, because, if you're driving through like coastal Mississippi and Louisiana, you'll see some shack type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it'll have a white sign that's made out of plywood.
And it's spray painted
alligator meat with a ghetto looking arrow going.
Yeah.
You everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can picture the sign, the paint's half on.
And it draws you in
it just draws you in. You're getting organic gator.
That's right.
And maybe possibly murdered.
That's right. Yeah.
You're either going to come out with the best meat of your life or you're not going to come out at all.
That's right. But it's worth it. It's worth the chance.
Worth it. So we found a place. We found a place called Chris's. Anna found online Chris's Gourmet, or I'm brain farting, or Chris's Specialty Foods is what it was called. So I go in there.
Oh, specialty.
Yeah, I just buy stuff. Now, while I'm there, I buy like 2 pounds of alligator and some other just sausages and shrimps and stuff to try out. But while I'm leaving there, I'm looking and I buy boudin egg roll. It was just like boudin, but instead of in a ball, is wrapped in an egg roll.
Yeah.
Then I buy a boudin ball.
Yeah.
And locals are coming in to buy they're also like selling chicken crackling.
Yeah. Oh,
fresh made there and pork crackling.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, I have to drive from New Orleans, Louisiana,
back home,
to Greenbrier, Arkansas, and so I'm already taking a chance just eating the boudin. So I didn't buy any of the other stuff. But my goodness, I've had like boudin balls at restaurants and stuff before. Here at Arkansas, I've never had it from deep in the heart of Louisiana. My goodness, there is a huge difference.
Yeah.
No, you had a little bit of a Cajun eating experience while you were down there in Louisiana. What was it? You were helping out after Katrina?
Yeah, man. Which I've been to New Orleans probably 5 or 6 times. And spent like weekends or several days there for different things. But after Katrina, we went down there to help out, and y'all have heard me on here before talk about disaster relief. They go in and cook meals for the Red Cross. So we were doing that. And while we were doing that, it was a few weeks after Katrina, and it was when Hurricane Rita was coming in. So we we were kind of in limbo or whatever while we were there. But anyway, while we were there, that we were right next, we were in Kenner, which is where the airport is in New Orleans. And we were right next to the police department. And some policemen came over while we were cooking that morning and said, "Hey, this afternoon we're gonna be having a cookout. Y'all come over and get some food when you get through delivering meals." So we would cook the food, and then we would go out and deliver the meals in the community and stuff. We got back, and I was the last one that got back. We had went out a little farther, and so
now was it because you got out far? No, let's just stop you right there, because I found a hole in your story, and I'm gonna call you out on it, Reverend John.
What's that?
Was it really because you had to drive farther? Did you get talking to somebody and just lose track of time?
Okay, it was probly a little bit of both.
It's probably
a little bit of both.
Probably a little less.
And probably, yeah. But anyway, so we get back, and one of the guys that was with me, it was me and my pastor and one of our deacons. And our deacon, he comes walking by me, and he said, "Boy, you got to get you some of that." I said, "Where is it?" He said, "On that grill over there." And of course, there was still no power at this place. Okay. So we're running off generators, and they had cooked it on like a big, like just a barbecue pit. Okay. So, yeah. but they had this huge pot, one of the biggest pots I've ever seen. And I looked down in that pot, and it's this jambalaya, and it's about a third of the way still full. And it looked amazing. And I got this big old scoop, and I scooped me up some of that as much as I could fit on my plate. And dude, that was the best thing. That's one of those meals, Clint.
Yeah.
That like on the total opposite side of what PTSD has to be like.
Right. Yeah.
Like on the good side of what, like PTSD, guys like just all of a sudden go into anxiety. Like when I think of that meal, I go straight to joy.
Right, yeah.
So it's like the positive, like I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have that again. Because those boys, I don't know who cooked that, but I would have gave them a big old kiss on the cheek or something, man. That was so good.
That's one of the meals where you're like, okay, like you come to my house, you'll eat jambalaya. I mean, you never have, because we've only made it like once ever.
Yeah.
But you're going to be comparing that jambalaya
to everyone. And I've made jambalaya myself, and I just can't. And I've had other people from Louisiana that are great cooks that made some great jambalaya, but I just can't. I mean, that stuff that day was unbelievable. Yeah. The sausage was, I don't know where they got that sausage, man, but it was so good. It was, and everything was just so good.
Now, while I was there, they had pork belly, which isn't, I guess, that uncommon thing, but I just never remember going to the market and seeing pork belly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I looked at it like, man, you know what? I may buy it. Because it's only like 20 something bucks. I said, I should buy it. I'll do something with it.
Yeah.
Like I'll do something with it. And then I ended up not buying it. And then I got on Facebook when I got back. And a friend of mine named George Alvarez, me and him always talking, cooking, barbecue and stuff like that. I saw where he had wrapped a pork belly and cured it, smoked it, basically made his own bacon out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, man, dadgummit.
I've seen people take it and on some of these cooking shows, they'll take it and they'll cut it into cubes and make like little, and render a lot of that fat out of it and make like little just morsels of goodness out of it. Yeah. Basted in sauce and stuff. Yeah.
So
anyway,
we've got it. So anyway, fast forward. He told me he bought it at Sam's Club.
Mm-hmm.
Where he bought it, I'm like, oh my goodness. So I get on the Sam's Club app and I see they got some in Conway. So I go. I haven't made it yet, but in my fridge right now, I'm curing my own bacon.
Nice.
But that kind of got the wheels turning. Like, all right, I want to try it.
Yeah.
Because me, I see something on a barbecue show, and if it's complicated, I'm like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I see something easy and fun, Anna's pretty good about like my redneck meatloaf I make, which people dig.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. I'll be able to do that soon out of meat that I raised. So
yeah,
which I actually just thought about that, but that's pretty cool.
Now on the animals you're going to raise for meat,
okay,
is there anywhere you draw the line on what you want?
Goats. I don't think I could do goats.
Okay, yeah. No goat meat.
Yeah, goats. That'd be about the line.
I watched that show. It's one of those shows. I forget what the name of it, but it's one of those shows where that guy goes in and these people that live off the grid, and he helps remodel their homestead, homestead makeover or something like that. One of those type shows. It's that old gray-headed guy goes in, him and his daughter and son. And there was one the other day.
Is he nice about it, or is he going like John Taffa?
No, he's pretty nice about it. I mean, he's real serious though. He's like real,
real matter of fact.
He makes it kind of dramatic, but he don't get mean with them too bad or nothing like that. But anyway, he and the daughter, the son helps them with like hunting, or if they live somewhere where there's bears or things like that that are threatening, they helps them like set up ways to keep them away from them and all that. And the daughter helps with like gardening, and then she helps with like livestock they raise for meats and stuff like that. And one of the ones that a few of them will raise for meat is rabbit.
Oh yeah.
And see, I would have a hard time with rabbit.
No. Well,
because rabbits, you just hold like a little, when you just, it's like a cat,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and see, and our goats are Nigerian dwarfs. Well, I'd say that we did have a goat pass away, and we're gonna give the other one to a nice home. My mom's neighbor actually raises goats and stuff, and so we're like, look, we don't need to be by himself, so we're gonna. And then she's just like, how much do you want from? Like, no, it's good to us. We just want to know he's going to do a good home. So now she's going to give me more turkeys and apparently some geese.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, but no, anything I consider a pet. That's why I like the pigs. I don't know them. I don't know the meat chickens and the cows to a degree. But now that they're pasturing, that disconnect starting to get there where I see them more of that. When they were my bottle babies and I was having to go out and feed them twice a day.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But and I told my wife and I told my son this because I said, look, these cows, these animals were born for this reason.
Yeah.
That's why, and this is how I process it in my head. If you want to know how this messed up brain works, these animals were born for this reason. Now, they can either come and spend their life with me and have a good life and get well taken care of, fed right, have plenty of space, not get mistreated, not be crammed into a little thing and have feed forced down their throat.
Yeah.
I said, I know they're getting a good life, and then when it comes time, they'll be handled humanely.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to process anything myself. I don't do blood. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes time to have them butchered, they're going to go in the back of a stock trailer, and they're going to go that, and that includes the chickens. That includes everything.
Oh, you're not going to wring your own chickens' necks?
I'm not going to wring my own chickens' necks.
Well,
I don't. It's one of the memories that in my head that I remember them doing that.
Yeah.
On the farm, killing, processing chickens, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And I have another memory, and it's in your hometown. I remember my pawpaw took me in the slaughterhouse.
Hey, Clinton.
Oh
yeah.
He walks in the back door.
I spent some time in that place,
which I'm sure is not USDA legal for me to just walk in the back door.
Yeah.
But I think if I remember correctly, the cow's head was on. My head is like this. It looks like a Dexter episode where just blood's just everywhere on the Visqueen, and then you're like, and then the cow's head's on a spike, and his head's out. I mean, like it really. The fact that I'm not messed up from that experience.
Yeah,
I just remember it just being. Do you have any good experiences at the Clinton slaughterhouse like that?
Well, my main one I remember, as a kid is a guy we hunted with. He was a dentist, and he killed a deer, and he was it was deer season, so it was, of course, and so the meat market was backed up, and and he was going to pay them to skin it for him, and they were like, "Look, we're so backed up, we can't skin it. If you'll skin it, we'll take it and process it for you, but we just don't have time to skin them." And so we were already down there, so he's like, "Well, can I skin it here?" And so, like, we were, like you said, like going through the back door using the knives of the meat market's knives and everything, and like hung it up on a rack in the back where they unload unload the animals and stuff, and like skin a deer right off in the back of the meat market. And so probably wasn't, anyway, we weren't official.
And I think growing up on a farm and seeing some of this stuff it helped me being like, no,
yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like when we got the pigs, I'm like, okay, I messaged the lady, said, look, will y'all fix the pigs before I get them? Or do I need to make an arrangement at the vet? They're like, we can cut them for you. I'm like, good, because I don't know who's doing it, but I know who's not doing it.
Yeah.
I said, I ain't dealing with that at all.
Well, Clint, let's talk some Razorback baseball.
All right.
The Hogs had South Carolina come in this weekend, and now, of course, they get the series win. Now Arkansas is ranked number 2 in pretty much all the polls.
Yeah, every single poll there is. Wake Forest 1, Arkansas 2.
That's right. Do you think this rotation of pitchers is what we're going to end up with the rest of the season? Or you think it's going to look similar to this, to what we're seeing? Because he only used 5 pitchers all weekend.
Yeah. In a perfect world, yes. I mean, but let's talk about those 5 guys.
Yeah.
You start off with Hagen Smith, who just, I guess you would call him the ace of the staff, whether he's come out of the bullpen or whether, he's starting. I think he settled into that Friday starter role.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dave Van Horn, he's tinkered this entire time to get it figured out. Yeah. And I think with Hagen, you got your ace, and you're going to get 6 innings of worst case, usually a bad outing from Hagen Smith. No, he may just get blown up game 1 against Vandy. Mm. But usually what 99% of the time you're going to get from him on a bad night is 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits scattered. I mean, that's your typical outing from him.
Yeah.
And then from there, if we're way up, and we rock their Friday starter, then it'll change. But if it's a tight game, you've really seen him hand it over to Gage Wood.
Yeah.
Who's kind of taken, I guess, last year's Brady Tigers role.
Now, as we get into tournament play, though, you may end up seeing an Adcock, a Zach Morris, a Ledbetter, come in there, so Wood doesn't have to go as many innings in tournament, because you may want to use him in the next tournament game.
And Parker Rowland kind of hinted on it here on the podcast with us, where he was talking about, was it Fausch? Am I thinking of?
Yeah.
That he thought he pitched twice and he got tired.
Yeah.
Over a weekend series. And we hit him in tournament play, what's the proper amount of rest for them guys. Mm-hmm. But especially with Elite, I think if the game's tied, he ain't going to mess with it. No. If we're up 3-2 and it's the 7th inning, 6th inning, he's going to go to Gage Wood.
Yeah.
He just you earn the trust. The 5 guys we're talking about here in the staff, mm-hmm. Gage Wood, Hagen Smith, and we get to their guys. The one thing they have is Dave Van Horn has confidence in them to come get the job done.
Mm.
I think that's it. And also, tip of the cap to our boy Parker Rowland. He's now officially our boy. Because he you tell a difference in the pitching staff.
Well,
when he's behind the plate, in my opinion, I really do.
And that's something I wanted to bring up. And I'll just bring it up here since you brought it up.
Yeah.
You know, he's been getting a lot of flack from a lot of fans because he's batting to under 200. Okay. But we got to remember baseball is about more than just what he does at the plate. You know, and what he does behind the plate on defense as a catcher is huge for this team. And we know because we've talked to him, and we talked to Michael Turner last year. Those coaches put a lot of trust in those catchers to call pitches. And you heard Hobbs interviewed, Coach Hobbs interviewed after the series this weekend. And he was talking about some of Holland's pitches he was throwing. And he's like, I don't know why he decided to throw those pitches, but they were working. And that's Parker Rowland. Yeah. I mean, that's, and plus Parker, he got a double up the middle, buzz the tower there.
Huge clutch hit. Huge clutch hit
in that third game. But we got to give him credit, when until we talk, once again, we revert back to our interview with Michael Turner quite a bit, but I think that was eye-opening for both of us to understand that the catchers make that many pitch cap calls that, over 90% of the pitch calls, they're just making on the fly themselves. And so that, when you see these pitchers doing what our pitchers did this last weekend, man, that's, you got to give that catcher, so good ups on Parker. Yeah, he struggled. He's not doing that great on, offense as much as he would like to do, but man, it's, the thing is, as a team, other guys are picking him up there, other guys are picking up, and doing good offensively. And so that's why the team keeps winning.
Yeah. Well, you remember Casey Opitz didn't exactly light the world on fire.
No.
At the plate. He really didn't.
Well, and you remember last year, Robert Moore struggled like crazy.
Yeah.
But did you have anybody else you wanted to put at second base to turn a double play?
No.
That's
I always think back when they talk about catchers, was Tony La Russa talking about Yadier Molina?
Yeah.
When he's like, I don't care if the kid bats 0.
Yeah.
He's my starting catcher, which they said, speaking of Yadier Molina, one of my favorite stories to read was, Matheny cut himself on a hunting knife, and he was the Cardinals' everyday catcher. Whenever they got swept by the Red Sox. So Yadier Molina went in, the rest is history. Mm-hmm. He was a rookie. And they said Yadier got in the dugout. He said, I'm pretty sure Manny Ramirez is stealing signs. And they said, and they said he said something to Matheny about him, and he's like, you know what to do. When he gets back up, Yadier gets in his face and tells him he knows he's stealing pitches. He better quit it. He's going to,
Mm-hmm.
And like they're face to face arguing and things like, well, that's not the way I would have handled it, but that'll work.
Yeah.
And then Francona comes out and goes, Yachty, Manny don't even know or signals.
Yeah.
He's like, he don't even know or.
Yeah.
So you're barking at the wrong tree. Manny's just Manny.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just a funny story there. It just made me think of that. But then you go to night 2, and he's completely changed it around. And I think it's smart what he's done. And I don't know.
And I'm wondering if that's going to stay similar. If he's going to keep, I think he's going to keep pushing Tigert to go farther.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to keep Tigert in as a.
I think he is. I think the system's working. You're talking about they had one bad inning this week.
Yeah.
One. I mean, I think McIntyre gave up three hits. And I think, barring Brady getting in trouble, you're going to keep seeing them like they're doing it. Brady's going to get 30, 40 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Probably pitch 3 to 4 innings, depending on, how.
I think those numbers of pitches will go up. I think they're gradually going to go up. He'll be back up to where he's going.
But I think
up to 100 pitches.
Yeah, and then they go from him to McIntyre.
Yeah.
And that seems to be something that's working.
Yeah.
And I think it's for the better, but I really think when you get into the regionals, Arkansas is going to host the regional and be a super regional host. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we could get swept. I mean, you would almost have to get swept by Vanderbilt and go 2-2 in the tournament. And then I don't know if that would be enough to drop us below 8.
Yeah. No, because Vanderbilt's ranked. So, yeah.
Vanderbilt's ranked. I mean, I didn't think South Carolina dropped more than they should have, in my opinion, for losing a series. You look. It's hard to come to Fayetteville and win a series.
Yeah.
It just is. I would say it's the same thing with going to LSU.
Yeah.
South Carolina, any of those places. We got 4 top 5 baseball teams in the SEC. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Arkansas, South Carolina, Vandy, and LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's working. I really think that's working. But in the regionals, I really do think, because you'll have that first game versus like a New Jersey Institute of Technology or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Basically a 16 seed. So I really think what they'll do is they'll probably pitch Tiger at McIntyre game 1, save Hagen Smith for game 2, and then hopefully you have Hunter Holland to win it. That's probably what he'll do. He'll probably pitch his number 2 guy.
Well, let's talk. We hadn't talked about him yet. Let's talk about Hunter Holland.
Yeah,
that third game, man, 19 batters in a row. He got out. 19 batters in a row.
You've got a
complete game.
He's a Friday starter. I mean, he is a Friday starter, and he's pitching Sunday.
Yeah,
man, that was
an impressive game against a good South Carolina team.
Yeah,
that was an impressive pitching. And you got him hot as he is. You got Tiger hot. You got Smith hot right now. You got Wood hot right now. And then you still got guys like Adcock, like Zach Morris, Fausch, Busby, Ledbetter. I mean, you got all those guys still hanging out there that you can use, I like this pitching rotation. I think he's starting to round it out. He's starting to figure it out. It hasn't been real set all year, and I think he's starting to get to where he can set it.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you have. I think he's got Sunday's the day that's going to kind of be. Let's say he would have got to 100 pitches in the 6th, 7th inning, and still pitched a game. Then you talk about you have Adcock, Morris. You've got the middle to back into your bullpen to go. I'm a big believer in body language, as you know, Travis, because a couple years ago, I was talking about observing Malik Hornsby's body language after a big win where he just didn't look happy, and they had just won a big game. So I see everybody, coming out of the dugout and the bullpen to shake hands and do that, and I'm reading facial expressions and that, and you can see, and then my boy Adcock, Cody Adcock, I thought about him immediately because I saw him and he hadn't pitched that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we only used 5 pitchers. I mean, it wasn't like Dave.
There's a lot of people didn't pitch that weekend.
Yeah. It wasn't that Dave Van Horn's like, you're unfit to pitch. Go away.
Yeah.
Be cast away, scrub. It wasn't that situation. It was just you weren't needed. In the look of just joy, happiness on his face. They were high-fiving. None of the players looked bummed that they didn't get in. It looked like the team is pretty close and they're cohesive.
Yeah, I think that's an obvious thing, man, because I don't think you put together a team with as many new guys like this, with as many young guys, and win like they're doing without them being sold into the team concept, you know. And Van Horn talks about it. He said, you know, that's one thing he's been impressed with. He said, you know, he talks about earlier in the season where he gave them a day off, and he comes up to the field, and they had put together a ping pong tournament, and all the players were up there playing in a ping pong tournament just for fun, you know. And he said that let him know that this team was bonding, you know, and that's what we're seeing on the field. That's, you know, that's important stuff. You know, that's why a Musselman takes the team over into Europe like he did, you know, and wants to take them to the Maui tournament and all that kind of stuff, because he wants times for them to bond and to build, you know, cohesiveness. You know, football coaches do, you know, similar type things sometimes. You know, they'll take the team bowling or things like that, you know. And so that's something, and that's going to be something with the transfer portal and things like they are, that's going to be even more important for football, you know, I mean, not football, but for sports teams, for basketball, for college teams to be able to do, is to build that cohesion. And the teams that are going to win are the ones that can build that cohesion the quickest.
You know, that's big that you bring that up. You know, you heard Bumper Pool and Grant Morgan talk about hanging out in the locker room playing pool,
Yeah,
stuff like that. And even was it Adcock that brought up that they had the ping pong table
yeah,
at
yeah. I
Arkansas?
think
Yeah, I
so.
mean just stuff like that for the kids to do, just games, you know, that turn out competitive. Now I remember and it's better when the bonding experience comes from inside.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That you got that dude that says, "Hey, let's do this," and then you know, it kind of trickles down.
yeah.
Um, you know, football, we had that with Grant Morgan. Now, one thing, Grant Morgan's, I think, would you call him a legendary Razorback at this point?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think,
Well,
yeah,
I'm going to be
go
now.
from
He
walk on to that. Yeah,
to Burlsworth All American. Yeah, I'd call him a
yeah,
legendary.
yeah,
He ain't quite let's retire the number 31, but
yeah,
he'd be in the conversation.
yeah,
I think 5 and 31 would probably be the two that you really need to talk about.
yeah,
I don't know, maybe a guy named Bambi talk about retiring his number.
yeah, yeah,
So you could make a case for a few.
yeah.
But I think Morgan's with him. What do you think about him starting his GA career at Illinois?
Good for him, man. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, there was an opening and he took it, you know.
No, I'm going to be a guy like that. You think will make a good coach one day?
Oh yeah,
You really do. That'd be one of them guys you would love to see as the head hog one day.
you can see him needing a coach. Oh, was that Venables has that get back coach? That guy that just pulls him back all the time because he gets too
Every
fired
team's
up.
got to get back coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad for him, man. Bielema, you know, there was things about Bielema that I didn't, you know, I just think his philosophy didn't, I think he was a little too rigid on his philosophy, a little bit on recruiting and things like that. But, you know, what Bielema did for Frank Ragnow when his dad died, I'm going to respect that man unless he does something just terrible. He's got my respect because the way he handled that, and the way Ragnow and his mom wanted him part of that, shows the respect. You know, like Ragnar's mom she wanted Bielema to be there when she told him.
Yeah.
Like she wanted, and most other head coaches, they would want the position coach there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not that he wasn't close to his position coaches, you know, but she wanted Bielema there. And so that told me that the way he cared about those kids and he's you see him on social media and stuff. He stays connected with those guys, and so anyway.
Well, yeah,
so I think Grant's going to learn a ton from him. I think that'll be a good place for him to learn and grow. And
no, and I agree. And when you're Brett Belima, and you've been in the game as long as he has, Sam Pittman's the same way. A lot of these guys, they have so many connections.
Yeah.
And they have such a big, and Belima's got a tree underneath him. He's had a lot of guys go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Like when I had lunch with Coach Mullins a couple months ago, me and him were talking, and he's like, Clint, I get tickets offered to games all the time.
Yeah.
He said the last one I went to was the Arkansas-Georgia game. He goes, because if I'm there, I'm locked into one game. When I'm home, I can watch 5 games. I can just flip back and forth and watch football.
Yeah.
And so, and Belima's the same way. He's got so many connections that he can probably that. He's coached in the NFL. He's coached in college. I mean, Belima seemed like he's a great guy. Like you said, the way he handled it, he went and he got with the NCAA, got a waiver so they could use the Stevens private jet to fly him home for his father's funeral.
And him and his wife went with him. Like he didn't have to do that. He could have sent a GA with him. He could have sent, he could have sent an assistant coach with him. Like he literally got on the plane, rode all the way up with him, and then flew back that night. And, and we have had another coach at Arkansas that I know of for sure shoot a kid out because he was going to miss the spring game for his mother's funeral.
Yeah, but enough about the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M.
That's right. Yeah,
I don't care, Colin. He's a jerk.
Yeah,
he was a jerk then. He's a jerk now. And he's always going to be a jerk.
That's right.
Sometimes that's just who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Anyway, did I say that out loud?
Yeah. Now let's hear. So the baseball team, man. Now in Hoover, what do you want to see the Hogs do in Hoover?
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I would like to see them maybe get to where it's single elimination and lose that game.
I want them to go and pitch nothing but these guys that aren't pitching a lot right now.
Yeah.
And just maybe do a few innings with some of the main guys, like start out the first game, let Smith go about 3 innings, and then bring in somebody else, bring in Adcock, somebody like that. Someone that started some games, they can go long innings, do that, and just see what happens, but let them have a chance at a lot of innings before heading to the regional.
Well, because you never know when you're going to have to look down there and call them Cody Adcock, Austin Ledbetter, Zach Moore.
Exactly.
Any of them guys.
You may need one of you may need Fausch. You may need any of those guys to come in and play a big role. So just let them take the tournament, man. Let them, and Hoover, let them just go in and start, and play most of the time. And, rest anybody you can rest, and then just go from there.
Yeah, because, I don't.
If you win, you win. If you lose, so well.
It's like if you're Arkansas, well, I don't want to use Arkansas, but because they're the basketball team this year, they needed some wins in the SEC tournament, I think.
Yeah.
But, when you pretty much got a number 1, 2, 3 seed locked up.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if you go when you win 2 out of 3 at Vanderbilt, you have a super regional locked up.
Yeah.
Really, to me, it don't make a difference if you're the 1 seed or the 8.
All you're going to do is wear out your pitching.
Yeah, all you're going to do is wear out your pitching.
That's all you're going to do.
So, yeah. There's some teams that need it, and then Arkansas just doesn't.
Yeah.
And now, a lot of times, in the basketball tournament, back when you had the classic Arkansas, Kentucky teams, when you had the Corlises and the Oliver Millers taking on the, some of the more named guys, the Mashburns and stuff
Roderick
like that.
Rhodes.
Yeah. But when you had those guys and you've got a number 1 seed locked up. when you have those guys, you'd almost rather see your team lose.
Yeah.
That way you got it over with. Like, all right.
Yeah.
You got to taste that in your mouth.
I think it's even more so in baseball.
Yeah.
I think it's even more so. Now, Clint, we're changing the subject. You kind of changed a little bit there to let's talk a little basketball.
I apologize.
You know, that we're in basketball, we're on the Ron Holland watch. You know, he's the number one player in the nation. He committed to Texas. He backed out of that commitment. He hasn't made his decision yet. A lot of people think he's going to go NBA. However, there is some rumors flying around that Texas hasn't released him from his commitment yet. And of course, Arkansas fans are upset. You know, it's that they're, you know, that they're not letting him out of it because he's going to come to Arkansas. You think Texas is, what do you think if it's true that Texas isn't letting him out of his commitment? First of all, do you think it's because he wants to come to Arkansas?
The coach says legally we can't keep it. So I don't know. I don't know how much truth it is to that. So I'm speaking from a position of ignorance. Well, Texas, number one, they should let the kid go because kid's not in their conference.
Yeah.
The head coach he had signed to play for isn't there anymore. But mostly, you know, what I heard last, it's between Arkansas and like the G League night or something like that. Yeah. Like he's not going to go to even if Texas like, no, you can't go out. He's going, well, I'm just going to go play. And then I was going to talk. Who's the daddy ball? LeVar Ball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, what he advised them because they're go play in Greece for a year.
Yeah,
get paid. You shouldn't be spending time in geometry class. You're going to the NBA.
Yeah.
To which I posted that on Facebook. I think I shared it on the page. And I remember Mike Floyd coming in. You really think Bronny James is going to algebra?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You think Bronny's taking classes? He's not.
Something I heard them talk about on the radio too the other day was there's some team from like Atlanta or somewhere that is like paying players to come and play for them.
Yeah.
And they pay really well. Like, rumor is Nick Smith turned down like $3 million a year to come to Arkansas to play for them.
Yeah. Only for us to crap all over him.
Yeah.
Because he was hurt all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you noticed in the NBA combine's going right now, draft combine? Did you see what Walsh did the other day?
Yeah, Walsh is just showing out.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well just wave goodbye to that guy because he's done nothing but help himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he put up some good numbers. He, shooting, of course, that's without people guarding him and all that kind of stuff. But still,
odds are he'll probably work his way up. He's athletic. He's an athletic freak.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably work his way up into the late first round, which would be good for him because he'll go somewhere like one of two things. Either he'll go to a really bad team that has traded away some, a good player for a late round, first round pick.
Yeah.
Like somebody may have LA's pick. If not, then you'll probably wind up in a situation like going to the Lakers, going to the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
A team that's already got,
pretty good squad.
Or worst case scenario, you find yourself on a bad team where you're going to be playing a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Moses Moody's in one of them situations where he plays for the Warriors and he doesn't get a lot of playing time, but he's a lottery pick. So
yeah,
you never know. Hopefully he'll wind up in a good squad. And his defense is good. If he can learn to defend without fouling, I mean, a lot of his issues was he couldn't stay on the court because he fouled too much.
Yeah. Definitely. I think, we'll see what happens. But I think you're right. I think there's a good chance he ends up NBA now. I think that's
Well,
I think that's a transfer portal spot to fill that Musselman will have. Now, once he gets to the NBA, Clint, it's going to be tough because he's got to find a team that can keep a coach.
Yeah, dude, the last 3 coaches of the year, the last 3
cut
unemployed.
Truck.
3 guys with NBA
Ever heard of
championship
such
ranks.
a thing?
Yeah. So it's one of them deals where like it's not enough to just get into the playoffs anymore. You give your team a chance.
Yeah.
You got what was it the Bucks that fired their coach, or was it the Raptors? I think it's the Raptors fired their coach.
Well, I know Phoenix fired theirs.
Yeah, lost in the semis without your point guard. Chris Paul's hurt.
Yeah.
You're having to meld this team together. I mean, it's like Steve Kerr is the only one that survived Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he got Steve Nash fired. I don't even say he got him fired, but
yeah,
he was on the team when Steve Nash got fired. And then Doc Rivers, he gets fired yesterday. 2 guys that, took 2 teams that really were not that good when they got there.
And Doc Rivers is, one of the best ever.
He's a respected coach, won a championship at Boston, unemployed now. What he did at LA. Well, the thing about Doc Rivers wants to coach next year. He'll coach next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He'll
find another gig.
They retread them guys all the time. But yeah, it is crazy.
Well,
you look at Sam Pittman had 1 off season. KJ was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He went from 9-4 bell of the ball to he's another Chad Morris.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not.
Fans are stupid.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, Clint, I got one more thing I want to talk to you about. Here in a local school, the seniors decided to do a little prank, I guess. Okay. Apparently they found a window open or something like that at the school. So they went in and they I don't know exactly what all they did, but I know.
Have they caught the kids, by the way?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Most schools have cameras nowadays, so you can't get away with anything. And plus it's a small town, word of mouth. I don't know exactly what they did. I haven't got all the details on it yet. I just know it had to do with fire extinguishers that they, sprayed a bunch of those around and stuff. And that in some parts of the school it was flooded, that they did something to where it flooded the school. They
cherry bombed the toilets or something?
I don't know, something. I don't know what they did to the toilets, but
not that I ever did that.
Like I said, I don't have all the exact. I don't want to say anything that's wrong. I'm just telling you the things I know for sure. That there was
there was a smidge bit of vandalism in the school.
It was property damage. Yeah. And then there's, of course, then the word I was hearing, and then, this is all conjecture because it just happened. Like they pretty much, when they got to school yesterday, they had to cancel school. So like they sent all the high school kids home. Okay. And so they, there's talk about that there's going to be charges filed. There's talk about them not getting to walk at graduation. I don't know if they're talking about them not letting them graduate or not. I don't know if that's in there. I've heard of other schools not let them walk, because that's a pretty big punishment. Your family coming in and everything to watch you walk, and you don't get to because you did something stupid. That's pretty bad. I don't know what they're going to do to them, but it got me thinking. Okay. And I don't think we had any senior pranks really at Greenbrier. The only thing I remember was, didn't Stephen Velick and some of them put a bunch of crickets, release a bunch of crickets over by the Agri Mr. Breeding's classroom.
That sounds familiar.
They it seemed like they took like a whole tube of crickets and released them, and like crickets started coming underneath the door to the classroom while he was teaching. And I think Mr. Breeding started picking them up for fishing bait, though.
Yeah, it's a fine line between.
Yeah.
And, you idiot.
Well, and that's what I was talking to somebody, and that's what they were saying was kind of something they had heard was the person, the kids who did it, that there was like just one or two of them that did they were gonna do stuff with like saran wrap and like saran wrap the toilets and just little cheesy stuff like that.
Yeah, see, that's funny. Like come in, saran wrap the toilets.
They were gonna do stuff like that, but then a couple of them, or one of them, or a couple of them, all it takes is one to start doing crazy junk.
If you hang an inappropriate poster like on a couple doors, saran wrap a couple toilets, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like little pranks like that's funny. When you get in where you're damaging property, spray painting.
Yeah.
Making
it bad enough to where you got to cancel a day of school because of it.
No, that's that there's a line that's over it.
A guy from my church is the head of maintenance at the school. I bet he was not happy.
No, I bet he's not.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I'd come. Like, obviously, I think not letting him walk is appropriate punishment. I really do. But I don't think criminal charges is appropriate, but coming and having to pay for the damages,
Yeah.
Well, now, let me ask you a question. If you were me and you'd went in and you'd done, let's say I'd followed you because you were a bad influence. I'm joking. You really weren't. But let's say I'd have done this. What would have been worse? The punishment the school gave me, or having to deal with Tom Clark?
Tom Clark. Yeah.
Tom Clark.
Yeah.
That'd be just like, take me to jail. Just take me, keep me for a few days till he calms down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I would be scared to death.
Yeah. But one of the things about it is you do something to a school like that, if any of those kids are 18 already, that can be a federal offense, I think.
Well, then you're talking about like it's no longer a juvenile issue. They can try you as an adult.
I know, and I had some friends that were in there. They were like 19 or 20, and they were being stupid one night, and they went to it was off a school campus. It was a garage where the school parked some of their buses. They stole the fire extinguishers from the buses and went down to like a park and was having like a park beside the river and was having fights with the fire extinguishers, like spraying all that powder stuff on each other and stuff like that, just goofing off, acting stupid. They got a felony for it. I think some of them can't even work like at the defense plants in East Camden because they have that on their record.
Could you imagine being in the joint and being like, you're in prison? Prison.
Yeah.
like your cellmate, what are you in for? Murder. He goes, what are you in for? I let off a fire extinguisher.
Well, they didn't have to do time for it.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just
come on. They didn't have to do time for it. I think they had to pay a fine, and they had to, but they had that mark on their record, Yeah. So that
the punishment needs to fit the crime. But that's
yeah.
I remember, and we were that group that a lot of times people would toilet paper stuff
Yeah.
And it'd get blamed on us whether we did it or not.
Yeah.
I remember Jason Osborne's dad accusing us of me and Robert toilet paper. Like, he goes, man, I got the police coming over there going to fingerprint stuff. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't us.
It was the 11th graders that did it.
Yeah, I don't know who did it. I don't care. I mean, I didn't care. I did plenty. Like Mr. Gibson, toilet paper at his house.
Yeah.
Was you with us when we tried to toilet paper Coach Smith and his neighbor ran us down the road?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I was with
He
y'all.
lived out in him and like Coach Weedor and a couple other coaches lived in a house out at Guy.
Yeah.
We end up like, I think it was me. I think me, Marcus Diaz, Steven, and Billy Vella.
Yeah.
And their neighbor come just flying up the road and we jumping in there. I remember like Coach Joe, Mr. Jones, Mr. Gibson, he goes, man, they toilet paper in my house. And Mr. Jones like, that means they like you.
Yeah.
They didn't like you. They don't do it to teachers. They don't.
That's
like
right.
You.
That's right.
Like, they like you and they want to get you.
I remember after that, Mr. Gibson moved to Conway. Because when you did his house, wasn't he living in Greenbrier in like a trailer or something?
Yeah, in a trailer.
Okay.
And we weren't the first ones to get it.
But I think he moved to Conway.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I saw him, he was driving back to Conway through Worcester. And I saw his truck go by. And so I followed him. And I was doing good. I had a couple cars between us, and I was like, I'm going to find out where we were, because everybody was trying to figure out where Mr. Gibson lived so they could get his new house.
Yeah.
And I'm driving my old 78 Ford pickup.
Yeah, it's hard to hide that one.
Well, the problem was it was really hard because my brakes were going bad on me. And so we got there, when you got to Highway 64, there underneath the freeway, like you're going, the old way to get, going into Conway from Worcester. I was pulling in there. I went to stop and my brakes squealed real bad. And he looked in his rearview mirror and there, like me and I think like Stephen Velick was with me and somebody else, but like there was 3 of us sitting in my truck, and he saw us and he just took off, man. He lost us. He went driving through the streets of Conway, just juking us, and we lost.
Yeah.
But drive a janky truck. Anyway, we got the dog joining us.
This is Cookie.
Hey, Cookie
dog. He was named by my son.
No good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Clint, we've come to the end of another one. 112.
Cookie Dog loved it.
112.
112. We got some big things lined up. Some big guests coming up. We're excited about. We ain't going to spoil it here.
That's
but
right.
They're big.
That's right. So, folks, like and share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let your people know. Thank you, as always. Thank you so much for listening and watching and whatever else you're doing to our jibber jabber. We appreciate it so much. And listen, y'all have a great day. Be great out there.
Bye, everybody.
We out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come.